The University of Johannesburg welcomes you to this graduation ceremony. Due to security reasons, you are requested not to leave the auditorium before the end of the proceedings. Please note that photos and videos must be taken from your seats. Please do not get up and walk around inside the auditorium. As soon as the procession leaves the auditorium, you are requested to rise and remain standing until the procession and guests of honor have left the auditorium. A kind yet important request. Please only applaud after the student's name has been read out, and only applaud until the student has been capped, in order to give other graduates the opportunity to have an audible readout of their names. Please also note that no whistles are allowed for applause, only clapping of hands and ululating. You are cordially invited to enjoy refreshments in the foyer after the ceremony. A final request. If you have a cell phone in your possession, please switch it off or put it on silent. Ladies and gentlemen, the procession will now enter the auditorium. You are requested to rise and remain standing until the members of the procession have taken their seats.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now constitute this meeting as a lawful congregation of the University of Johannesburg. Ngenxa yegunya enginikwe lona, ngimisa lo mhlangano njengokuhlangana okusemthethweni kwe-University yase-Johannesburg. Please be seated.
Good evening. Chancellor, the Executive Dean, Professor Andre Swart, and also the Acting Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, Professor Andre Stradum, members of Senate and other academics, graduates and their guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Council and the Executive Management and staff of the University of Johannesburg, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our graduates and their guests to this evening's graduation ceremony. I wish to congratulate all our graduates. For each one of you, this would not have been possible without the support and encouragement of your loved ones and sponsors, many of whom sit proudly in the audience today. Your graduation is one of your finest achievements yet. You have made dramatic strides as independent-minded, spirited, responsible, and career-focused adults. We thank our UJ staff who guided you on this journey in these defining years of your lives. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate 10 years of UJ, we remind ourselves of the importance of honoring the heritage we've received from those who have gone before us. Let us therefore remember our founding institutions. This year, we mark the 90th year of the founding of the Technikon Witwatersrand, the 47th year of the founding of the Randse Afrikaanse Universiteit, and the 33rd year of the founding of Worcester University. As UJ enters its second decade, we have an enormous amount to celebrate. Our achievements in teaching and research, in our relationship with prestigious universities globally, and in our world-class programs and facilities are considerable, and we have reached new heights of excellence far earlier than anticipated. Emboldened and inspired by what has been achieved in our first decade, we turn our efforts and our dreams to the next decade, and we plan rigorously and thoroughly for further quantum leaps. Our ambition, grounded in carefully wrought strategies, is to achieve global greatness for an inclusive and sustainable future, and our singularity of purpose will ensure that we will succeed. And greatness does not imply that UJ should be the preserve of the privileged only, but we believe that the university should be enjoyed by all deserving citizens. Our goal is to welcome students from all classes and backgrounds, to uplift those who have struggled, and to make a major contribution to creating a good life for all South Africans and our students from further ashore. Commitment to making excellent educational resources available to a diverse body of students is a proud cornerstone of the university. Consider the fact that annually UJ enrolls within its first-year undergraduate program, in terms of our own admission criteria, close to 20% of students who come from quintile 1 and 2 schools that serve the poorest in our nation. Consider also that approximately 60% of our graduates are first-generation university students. A further indication of our commitment to university access is the annual increase in student applications to UJ. By the end of last year, 111,000 students applied for the 10,500 first-year undergraduate places, more than 10 applicants for each first-year place. There is no doubt considerable pressure to increase enrollments beyond our capacity. However, we believe that we need to balance the non-negotiable need to maintain and continually to raise our already high academic standards. We also understand that there continues to be enormous and unfulfilled demand for student financial support. This is an issue which the state, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, and all of our universities continue to grapple with. As a consequence, in 2015, we used UJ funds to assist an additional 850 final year and senior students to complete or to continue their studies, and this investment amounted to a total of 45 million rands. This is in addition to the money that we received from the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. In addition to this, and in partnership with the Gift of Givers, more than 3,000 of our most indigent students receive a balanced meal twice a day, costing the university an additional 12 million annually. And to enable us to make available additional funds in aid of this noble cause, we will, on the 18th of October, stage our first future walk, and I hope to see many of you participating in that walk. It's in aid of a good cause. There's a little bit of money to pay, not much, but you do get an exercise as well. The university is excelling well beyond expectations, as I mentioned. This year, the authoritative QS World University Rankings of Universities in the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, again ranked UJ among the top 100 universities, placing us 67 amongst this economic bloc's 6,200 universities. It also placed us 5th in South Africa. The 2015 QS subject ranking placed 19 of UJ's subject offerings in the top 300 subjects globally. Also, the Thomson Reuters ranking of universities that rank universities according to, amongst others, their global research profile, their ability to recruit high-quality staff and students, and ability to establish valuable international partnerships, has placed UJ in the 6th position of universities on the African continent. Furthermore, as affirmation of UJ's now strong research tradition, the National Research Foundation recently awarded UJ 5 new South African research chairs, and this is the maximum that could be awarded. And these new research chairs are all held by UJ's remarkable women academics. Our undergraduate student module completion rate now stands at just under 85%. The overall annual graduation output is now in excess of 12,200 graduates every year. And in 2014, we had 527 masters and 106 doctoral students. 95% of our students obtain employment within 12 months of graduation. This signals the value of our qualifications to South African and international employers. All of these achievements, ladies and gentlemen, are the result of the considerable efforts and innovation from our executive deans, vice deans, heads of schools and departments, academics, tutors, and of course, our students. We believe, however, that our work is far from finished. UJ's continued excellence in teaching, research, and innovation is poised to achieve the Strategic Plan 2025 and beyond. We build on and intend to build on continued excellence and will continue to expand on our postgraduate and postdoctoral enrollments with emphasis on women in research, on raising significantly our academic staff with doctoral qualifications, on nurturing the National Research Foundation rating of academics and researchers, and on continuing to invest in strategic research areas of national and global significance. We also will continue to expand our international footprint and ensure that we continue to build on our prestigious partnerships with some of the top, or many of the top, global universities. We believe that all of these efforts will secure the sustainability of UJ for the future. However, it's not all about academic excellence and research. Our students will attest to the fact that very few universities can match UJ in the overall student experience through arts and cultural offerings, and in the sporting arena, the UJ continues to excel. The university currently has 50,000 students, and our students come from all corners of South Africa. But importantly, we also have close on to 3,000 international students from more than 80 countries, and we aim to increase our number of international students to 5,000 by 2020. In addition to the 50,000 full-time contact students, we also enroll a further 9,000 students in our vast programs of continuing education. To our graduates, as new graduates, you're now part of an elite graduate population in South Africa and beyond, and you've obtained your qualifications in a higher education environment that mirrors the democratic ideals of South Africa and the continent at large. At UJ, you have been groomed for leadership. Leadership carries with it responsibilities, and as future carriers of the UJ standard, I urge you to keep your eye on the poor, the marginalized, and the disadvantaged. As you scale the heights of your selected careers, remember that not everyone in our society is as privileged as you are. And you should feel compelled to do whatever you can, whenever you can, to make positive contributions to society as responsible corporate citizens and future leaders. Finally, I'd like to welcome you as new members of the global UJ alumni community. As UJ alumni, you join a worldwide body of professionals who have gone before you, many of whom are leaders in their field and who retain an extremely close relationship with their alma mater. I encourage you to join the UJ Alumni Network and to make use of the benefits that the network has to offer, and also to become active members of the university convocation. By staying actively engaged with your alma mater, you can make a real contribution, financially and otherwise, to our academic project and to the students that will join UJ as you depart. Ladies and gentlemen, at everything that we do at UJ is always infused with excellence. I thank you. Chancellor, I now request the Executive Deans to introduce the faculties of Health Science and Science, and immediately thereafter to introduce to you the candidates who complied with all the requirements for the respective qualifications.
Chancellor, I have now the honor of introducing the Faculty of Health Sciences. With a focus on producing competent and innovative practitioners, the Faculty of Health Sciences provides accredited qualifications in 11 academic departments, including key skills required by the public and private healthcare domains. Our graduates are employed globally, with a 100% employment rate in most disciplines on completion of study. The faculty offers learners a preferred learning experience with real-life experiences in our on-site health training center, with up to 25,000 consultations per year, and other accredited off-campus hospital and community center clinics. These areas form a learning hub, ensuring that our graduates are sensitive to and understand the broader healthcare needs of our society. Clinical and other training is further enhanced by placements in relevant service rendering facilities, which are accredited by the university and the relevant regulatory bodies, while some of our programs are the only fully accredited programs within the country by related regulatory boards. In maintaining our national and international competitive advantage, we place a high emphasis on quality assurance and curriculum review. Approaches to teaching and learning are constantly reevaluated, while international and program reviews, external advisory committees, and relevancy of technology and innovation initiatives are some examples of how we ensure that we remain leaders in our relevant fields. Faculty members are recognized for their expertise and serve on provincial, national, and international advisory committees, as well as a number of regulatory boards. Further to enhancing the research objectives of the university, our researchers contribute to science and technology, and their work impacts on the quality of life of all South Africans. The hosting of the only Olympic Study Center on the continent, one of only 37 worldwide, as well as the hosting of the Medical Research Council Environment and Health Research Center, one of only 7 South African universities to host a Medical Research Council unit, further enhances our research activities. Our rated researchers have national, continental, and international recognition for their work, while our activities of the Medical Research Council, the World Health Organization, and the Johannesburg Metropolitan Municipality have made a unique contribution to urban planning and related quality of life interventions. Professor Mari Pogelpoel was the recipient of the prestigious Women in Science Award for the 2014-15 period, while Professor Abrahamse was a finalist in the 2015-16 round. The recently awarded chair in the South African Research Chairs Initiative with a focus on laser applications in health will give further impetus to the research endeavors of our faculty. 11 of our top undergraduate achievers participated earlier this year in a Leadership in Health program as part of an exchange agreement to the US. And another 3 students participated in Universitas 21 Summer School in Tibet and Mexico. Other recent international student exchanges activities include the hosting of pre-medical students from the US, students from Australia, the Netherlands, and Switzerland, as well as the continued capacitation of medical practitioners and nurses from 10 African countries on diabetes management funded by the International Diabetes Federation. In line with the university's strategic objectives, the faculty drives sustainable and relevant community development projects, and various programs are involved in sustainable social investment in community outreach programs. Our outreach project in Rivoli was awarded the first prize by the university for community engagement and activities. And we also received funding from Discovery Healthcare for our activities in that project this year. The faculty congratulates all our graduates with a significant achievement here tonight. I thank you, Telaboga, Ingibonga, baie dankie. Chancellor, I now introduce to you the candidates who complied with all the requirements for the respective qualifications in order for you to confer or award such qualifications.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I will now confer and award the respective qualifications on the candidates introduced to me by the Secretary and to the candidates who are absent, but who have complied with all of the requirements for the qualifications. Rechtens die bevoegde administratieve zal ik nu aan de kandidaten gegeven uitvoerende orgaan aan de voorgestelde, zowel als aan die kandidaten wat aan al die vereisten de kwalificaties voldoen, maar dat afgezet is. Kwalificaties toegevoegd.
Chancellor, I'm honored to request you to award the National Diploma to the following candidates. Valentine Madiba. Tebogo Ben Mugapi. Richard Tandwokazi Mateto. Priscilla Rivalani Sambo. Kitsing Tebe. Machabat Soke. Tsepiso Polyende. Chancellor, I'm honored to request you to confer the degree Technologia, Baccalaureus Technologia to the following candidates. Berlin Human. Dane Wesley Olsen. Joanne Stefani Slater. William Andri Swart. Brandon B. van der Westhuizen. Chancellor, I'm honored to request you to confer the degree Baccalaureus Commerci to the following candidates. Wang Chun Chen. Chancellor, I'm honored to request you to confer the degree Baccalaureus Artium on the following candidate. Itumeleng Lehomo. Alefe Morojele. Given Lebade Sekpati. Muhammad Subir Suluman. Chancellor, I'm honored to request you to confer the degree Baccalaureus Curationis, Educationis et Administrationis to the following candidates. Christina Mulachi Lingwati. Elizabeth Molefe. Chancellor, it's my honor to request you to confer the degree Magister Curationis, Maternal and Child Nursing Science, Neonatal on the following candidates. Mamagadi Gloria Koneshe in Maternal and Child Nursing Science, Neonatal, with a citation entitled Experiences of Midwives Caring for Immigrant Pregnant Women in a Public Hospital, prepared under the supervision of Professor A.G.W. Nolte. Chancellor, I'm honored to request you to confer the degree Magister Philosophia on the following candidates. Renee Antoinette Boertes in Sports Science, with a citation entitled Predicting Backstroke Performance in Junior Swimmers, prepared under the supervision of Professor L. Lategan. Tanya Evans in Optometry, cum laude. With a dissertation entitled Chromatic Dependence of First Order Optical Properties of the Eye, prepared under the supervision of Professor W.F. Harris. Charlene Pereira Gubaya in Biokinetics, with a dissertation entitled The Prevention of Hamstring Injuries in Sport, prepared under the supervision of Professor L. Lategan. Chancellor, it's my honor to request you to confer the degree Magister Technologia on the following candidates. Daniel Seth Bloomberg in chiropractic with a minor dissertation entitled The Effects of Cervical Spine Adjustments on Sensory-Motor Synchronization, prepared under the supervision of Dr. C.M. Pester. Margaret Selina Modimola in biomedical technology with a dissertation entitled Investigating the Effect that Changes in pH of the Stomach Have on the Survival of Pathogenic Escherichia coli using Stimulated Gastric Fluid, prepared under the supervision of Dr. T.G. Barnard. Hadidi Louisa Mukena in radiography with a dissertation entitled Guidelines for the Introduction of Portal Image Review by Radiation Therapists, prepared under the supervision of Dr. H.A. Lawrence and co-supervision of Mr. S. Metleche. Clarissa Nudia in chiropractic with a minor dissertation entitled Ischemic Compression of the Suboccipital Muscles in Conjunction with Chiropractic Spinal Manipulator Therapy on Cerviosogenic Headaches, prepared under the supervision of Dr. M. Moodley. Charissa Swane Swan in chiropractic with a minor dissertation entitled A Correlation Study Between Quadratus Lumborum Trigger Points and Leg Length Inequality, prepared under the supervision of the C. Yelverton. Marion Vermeulen in biomedical technology with a dissertation entitled Observational Descriptive Study to Determine the HIV RNA Concentration in Window Period Samples with a viral load below the detectable limit of conventional assay and comparison of blood screening assays in reducing transfusion-transmitted HIV infection risk, prepared under the supervision of Mr. W.J. Warren Morley. Matthew Peter Franzen in chiropractic with a minor dissertation entitled A Comparison Between Chiropractic Manipulation and Kinesiotaping and the Combination thereof in Postural Kyphosis, prepared under the supervision of Dr. C. M. Bester and co-supervision of Dr. S. Lawson. Thank you, Chancellor.
Chancellor, I now have the honor of introducing the Faculty of Science to you. The Faculty of Science is a vibrant, dynamic, and diverse community where new knowledge in the natural sciences and biological technologies is disseminated, generated, and applied. We boast state-of-the-art research facilities, outstanding service and support to our students, and internationally accredited undergraduate and postgraduate programs that are presented through innovative teaching which are focused on the learning needs of our students. A wide array of cutting-edge research fields are explored, including cybersecurity, nanomaterials, food and nutrition security, geoinformatics, nuclear and particle physics, and parasitology, to name but a few exciting examples. The faculty has partnerships with local and international institutions, including associations with some of the world's leading research institutions, such as the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN in Switzerland, where fundamental research on the Higgs boson and other subatomic particles are being conducted, and collaboration with the University of Hong Kong, China, with whom we collaborate in water quality studies. We offer excellent programs, many of which enjoy international recognition, as exemplified by the accreditation of our Academy for Computer Science and Software Engineering by the British Computer Society, and the offering of joint PhD degrees with Kent University in Belgium. The faculty is flexible and innovative, and prepared to make and accept changes as circumstances demand. In this regard, the faculty has made far-reaching changes to its academic structure by the creation of a new department and the merging of others in 2014. We expect that from these initiatives and the new qualifications in existing courses, enhanced research fields will emerge, and the wider and much more appropriate selection of teaching and learning and research opportunities will be on offer to our students in service to our country, the SADC region, and by extension the continent. In the Faculty of Science, we know that our unique contribution to the natural sciences requires enduring innovation and academic excellence. We are therefore constantly aware of our duty to challenge existing knowledge, to accelerate the production of new knowledge, to expand the boundaries of our thoughts about what is possible, and then to create an environment in which students and staff can imagine and explore the impossible. And thank you. Kia leboha, India Bonga, Rai Dantu. Chancellor, I now introduce to you the candidates who complied with all the requirements for their respective qualifications in order for you to confer or award such qualifications.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I will now confer and award the respective qualifications on the candidates introduced to me by the executive team and to the candidates who are absent, that who have complied with all of the requirements for the qualifications. Elefeki hlompha matla ao itileo yalo, jaaka baithuti bao ke ba tsebisitseng ke mokgwa gohle le baithuti bao ba siko bona ditaba tseo ke ba lebaneng, bona bao ba fihlelletse dinako ka moka tsa ditaba.
Chancellor, I present the following candidates who are awarded the National Diploma. Lorraine Nyaki Banda, Priti Montobeko Telezi, Makoro Recibe Chuene, Nyeketani Tule Atlane, Mumpumelelo Sharo Mbale Kubeka, Tuzo Nape Mahake, Mati Setso Mabele, Siposetu Sibusiso Madiedi, Nolutandu Maslangu, Lupita Lungiswa Majola, Treasure Silo Makunga, Catherine Lebofang Malachi, Nokutula Mekwe, Tapelo Dion Mofoking, Moses Pemelo Mokwa, Amokelang Benolia Motsekwe, Potlaku Catherine Mocheki, Lerato Loveness Ndlovu, Lungiswa Wendy Mbluzele, Retabile Sebe, Mamao Tseng Ketisho Serepo, Tembisile Monfundo Sigia, Mflanfla Glorious Sikozano, Maria Mampane Cladi, Esther Nokutuleng Tsotetsi, Sindishwa Whitney Gyengwa, Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Science on the following candidates. Jason Nigel Brown, Kafatswa George Chati Kobo, James Chauke, Matabu Mildred Chuen, Joseph Francis Condon, Ata Ur Rasul Haq, Colin Hakingamana, Lizelle Hutton, Trevor Jeffrey Hope, Sizwe Muzi Jele, Tsitsi Adelaide Kapunde, Monde Brian Kekelama, Katlefo Katane Kekana, Chepiso Lechekwane, Tommy Frederick Mabasa, Fariseni Maboko, Surprise Opert Mabuza, Phyllis Tarisai Madaba, Zalama Maluleka, Otumelu Manale, Benedict Mashaba, Lufelo Alan Mashavula, Asife Mkeme, Moloko Frida Mashokwa, Kaulele Munjelele, Tasnim Nala, Julia Kalon Ndu, Tabilen Koze, Tuluquenza Chaba, Christopher Pudder, Rabelani Ratshi Shuka, Shane Michael Sardinia, Kanyesile Shabangu, Otanya Kanyesile Shongwe. Tulisile Simon Shuping. Vanele Longile Shikazi. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Science Honours on the following candidates. Fluke Ulrich Balloy. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Bachelor of Commerce Honours on the following candidates. Itati Lebohang Melita Machesa. Tabu David Magakula. Tato Theodore Malongete. Jonty Terence Marks. Ntutuko Zamanya Mbose Masondo. Komezga Temba Kasambara Masuk. Alelwa Ronda Mugwena. Ranwezi Shavane. Nicholas Jeremy Kruger. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Master of Technology on the following candidates. Becky Sipo Mabena in Biotechnology with a dissertation entitled Monitoring of Selected Contaminants, Physicochemical and Bacteriological Parameters in Wetland Filters, a case study of a 10-year-old Johannesburg Zoo constructed wetland, prepared under the supervision of Professor Jane Catherine Mugila. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Master of Arts on the following candidates. Belinda Ann Cooper in Environmental Management with a dissertation entitled The Spatial Prioritization of Threats to Biodiversity and Conservation in the Magaliesberg Biosphere, prepared under the supervision of Dr. Claire Kelso. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Masters of Commerce on the following candidates. Victor John Jakir in Informatics with a dissertation entitled A Best Practice Strategy Framework for developing countries to secure cyberspace, prepared under the supervision of Professor S.H. van Solms. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Master of Philosophy on the following candidates. Seymour Shifamba in Energy Studies, cum laude. With a dissertation entitled A Study of the Performance of a Sparse Grid Cross-Section Representation Methodology as Applied to MOX Field, prepared under the supervision of Professor Ajulini Murongwa. Kamiso Tokozane Kumalo in Energy Studies, with a dissertation entitled The Accurate Extraction of Photo Peak Intensities in the Gamma Ray Spectroscopy of Neutrally Occurring Radioactive Materials, prepared under the supervision of Professor Simon Fernand. Tsegofatso Bridget Moipolai in Energy Studies, with a dissertation entitled Characterization by X-ray Diffraction of Naturally Occurring Polycrystalline Diamond Samples from Different Origins, prepared under the supervision of Professor Simon Fernand. Chancellor, I am honored to request you to confer the degree Master of Science on the following candidates. Gershon Amenuvor in Chemistry, with a dissertation entitled Pyrazolol Phosphite and Phosphanite Ruthenium-2 Complexes as catalysts for hydrogenation reactions of benzaldehyde, acetophenone, and styrene. Ilana Bruton in Zoology, with a dissertation entitled Gerbil Systematics and Phylogeography of the Bushveld Gerbil, prepared under the supervision of Professor Bettine Janssen van Vieren. Alan William Fraser in Geology, with a dissertation entitled Minimizing Uncertainty in Measurements and Improving Limit of Detection in Gold-Bearing Materials from Concentrations predicted by linear regression in atomic absorption spectrometry, prepared under the supervision of Professor Fanas Viljoen. Ziad Lunat in Mathematical Statistics, with a dissertation entitled Quantile Regression Methods for Censored Survival Data, prepared under the supervision of Professor Freek Lombard. Atish Manganlal in Information Technology, cum laude, with a dissertation entitled Photoimaging, a rasterization approach to progressive global illumination, prepared under the supervision of Dr. Alex Hardy. Deogratius Titus Mahiga in Chemistry, with a dissertation entitled Synthesis and Characterization of Inorganic Hybrid and Socorous Silicon Materials, for use as stationary phases for solid phase extraction and HPLC columns, prepared under the supervision of Professor Titus Skrati. Andrew Craig McLaughlin in geology, with a dissertation entitled A Geometallurgical Examination of Gold, Uranium and Thorium in the Black Reef Quartzite Formation, Gold One International Limited Springs, prepared under the supervision of Professor Farnett Fullion. Zisi Innocent Mflongo in biochemistry, cum laude. With a dissertation entitled Metabolomic Analysis of the Effect of Priming Agents on Plant Cells, prepared under the supervision of Prof. Ian Dubry. Tulaganyo Molachi in nanoscience, with a dissertation entitled A Multi-Wall Carbon Nanotube Screen-Printed Electrode, modified with recombinant protein EBRR for detection of lead, prepared under the supervision of Dr. Kondia from Wits University. John Mouton in Information Technology, with a dissertation entitled Systems to Support Community-Oriented Critical Information Infrastructure Protection, prepared under the supervision of Dr. I.D. Ellison. Donovan Johannes Pretorius in Geology, with a dissertation entitled Characterization and Beneficiation of Coal from the New Vaal Colliery, Sasolburg Vereniging Coalfield, South Africa, through the application of automated mineralogy, prepared under the supervision of Profanus Fullion. Yolanda Kaji in Zoology, with a dissertation entitled A Comparison of Genetic Patterns in Two Low Dispersal Crabs from the Wild Coast in South Africa, prepared under the supervision of Prof. P. Teskey. Livuani Portia Munyangane in Geology, with a dissertation entitled Potentially Harmful Trace Elements in Groundwater of Greater Giyani, Limpopo Province, South Africa, Possible Health Implications, prepared under the supervision of Professor Hasina Moody. Cornelis Sipho-Vilakazi in Biochemistry, with a dissertation entitled Identification of lipopolysaccharide-responsive plasma membrane proteins in Arabidopsis thaliana, prepared under the supervision of Dr. L.A. Piazza.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Agnes McKenna, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree Doctor Curationis in Professional Nursing Science, Nursing Education, with a thesis entitled Development, Implementation and Evaluation of a Program to Facilitate Critical Thinking in Nursing Education, prepared under the supervision of Professor M.M. Chabeli. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
This research focused on the development, implementation, and evaluation of a program to facilitate critical thinking. A qualitative, explorative, descriptive, and contextual research design served as the basis for the development of the program to facilitate critical thinking of learner nurses. The research was guided by a postmodern constructivistic philosophical approach. The themes that emerged from the perception of nurse educators with regard to how critical thinking of learners could be facilitated were reflection, Socratic questioning, argumentation, dialogic reasoning, and cooperative, collaborative methods of teaching and assessment. A program was developed using an integrated curriculum framework derived from Bayer, Davis, and Caffarella, including the context, the philosophical foundation, the program learning outcomes, the identified methods of teaching and assessment, as well as the program outcomes. Learning outcomes were formulated based on the identified methods for the implementation of the program to first-year learning using curriculum content prescribed by the South African Nursing Council. The program was evaluated by learners after implementation, and the original contribution towards nursing education is the conceptualization and development of the program to facilitate critical thinking of learner nurses.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Doctor Curationis, Professional Nursing Science, Nursing Education on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor Curationis in Professional Nursing Science, Nursing Education on Agnes McKenna.
Thank you.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Hastings Tobise Chele, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Philosophia Doctor in Chemistry with a thesis entitled Fabrication and Characterization of a Polymer Nanocomposite Microcantilever, prepared under the supervision of Professor Supergat Sina Ray. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor, it is my pleasure to read the citation of Mr. Selle's work. Commercially available microcantilevers are fabricated from silicon-based materials. Silicon is extremely expensive to manufacture and cannot detect small analytes. Mr. Selle's research focused on the optimization of the fabrication conditions and characterization of polylactide nanoclay composite microcantilevers. Inorganic polymeric materials are now commonly used for manufacturing microcantilevers. To solve the problem of silicon-based microcantilevers, he used several different approaches to take advantage of mechanical properties associated with inorganic polymeric materials. Microinjection molding was utilized as the main fabrication process of microcantilevers. The deflection of the cantilever beams were measured by laser, Doppler, vibrometry, and atomic force microscopy. The results indicated that the deflection of the cantilever beams depend on the stiffness and geometric dimension of the material. The candidate's work has been published in international peer-reviewed journals and has been presented at both local and international conferences.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry on Hastings Mtobisi Zele.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Louita Ann de Kock, who has complied with all requirements for the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry, with a thesis entitled Hybrid Ion Exchanger Supported Metal Hydroxides for the Removal of Phosphate from Wastewater, prepared under the supervision of Professor Becky Mamba and co-supervision of Professor B. Jefferson of Cranfield University in the United Kingdom. I will now read out an abstract of the study. Mrs. de Kock's research focused on the synthesis of polymer-supported metal oxide and binary metal oxides and the application of the hybrid materials for the absorption of phosphate from wastewater. In the aquatic environment, phosphate causes eutrophication of standing water bodies. Phosphate is a non-renewable resource, and phosphate-based fertilizers are vital to food production. The hybrid materials developed in this work remove phosphate to very low levels, are reusable, and allow the recovery of phosphate for use as slow-release fertilizers. The candidate's work has been published in an international peer-reviewed journal, and other research papers have also been submitted for publication. Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry on Louita Ann de Kock.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Ruan Jan Isaac Lodewijk Gerber, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Philosophia Doctor in Zoology, with a thesis entitled The Use of Tigerfish as Indicator of Metal and Organic Contaminant Exposure in the Kruger National Park, prepared under the supervision of Dr. Vic Webner and co-supervision of Professor N.J. Smith of Northwest University. I now request the co-supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the candidates' research focused on an ecotoxicological aspect of rivers flowing through the Kruger National Park. The candidates studied both abiotic and biotic compartments of the aquatic ecosystem by employing a multimetric approach to ascertain whether tigerfish can be used as biological indicators of impacts and changes to the aquatic ecosystem of the KNP. Using tigerfish as biological indicators, the study found that this premier conservation area contains the highest levels of globally banned pesticides ever recorded in South African freshwater systems. The research contributed significantly to the knowledge base on the ecology and the toxicology of these systems, and was the first study to document significant aquatic food web disturbances due to human influences. The candidates' work has been published in peer-reviewed journals and has been presented at both national and international conferences.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Philosophia Doctor on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophia Doctor in Zoology on Ruan Jan Isaac Lodewijk Gerber.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Tafadzwa Makonese, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Philosophia Doctor in Energy Studies, with a thesis entitled Systematic Investigation of Smoke Emissions from Packed Bed Residential Coal Combustion Devices, prepared under the supervision of Professor Harold Anagon and co-supervision of Dr. P. Forbes of the University of Pretoria. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Answer. Mr. Maconese presented a thesis addressing the smoke emissions from packed bed residential coal stoves, including informal braziers, commonly known as imbalas. The thesis aimed to develop an improved understanding of the complex processes of combustion in small domestic devices by carrying out a systematic investigation of condensed matter, smoke emissions. A robust dilution system was developed and applied. The thesis investigated multi-channel silicone rubber traps for monitoring polycyclical aromatic hydrocarbon compounds. These results present the first comprehensive and systematic study of smoke emissions and emission factors from coal stoves in use in South Africa. An original contribution separates the combustion into two stages, presenting evidence on how the different combustion conditions during these two stages affect the morphology of smoke particles and hence their health impacts. 3 referee conference proceedings and 1 journal article have been published.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Philosophia Doctor on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophia Doctor in Energy Studies on Tafadzwa Makonese.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Gina Mamba, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Philosophia Doctor in Chemistry with a thesis entitled Rare Earth Dope Titania Carbon Nanomaterials Composite Photocatalyst for Water Treatment, prepared under the supervision of Professor A.K. Mishra and co-supervision of Professor Mjanda. I will now read out an abstract of the study. Mr. Mamba's research entailed tailoring visible light active photocatalysts based on doped titania and carbon nanomaterials, such as carbon nanotubes or single and multi-wall, and reduced graphene oxide, photocatalyst with enhanced visible light activity towards dye degradation were fabricated through decoration of multi-walled carbon nanotubes with gadolinium oxide nanoparticles and subsequent incorporation into the titanium matrix. Incorporation of small amounts of the carbon nanomaterials into rare earth metal iron, nitrogen, and sulfur titania yielded composite photocatalyst with enhanced visible light absorption and photocatalytic activity towards various model dye molecules. This work provided a framework for a new generation of visible light active photocatalysts based upon tri-doped titania and carbon nanomaterials for organic pollution mitigation. To date, the candidate has published a book chapter and 4 research articles in international peer-reviewed journals. His work has also been presented at both local and international conferences. Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry on Gina Mamba.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Mkiwe Gwyneth Mhlanga, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry with a thesis entitled Synthesis and Characterization of Functional Polyactide Metal Oxide Nanocomposites for Medical Application, prepared under the supervision of Professor Suprakash Shinare. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor, it is my honor to read out Nikwe's abstract of her PhD work. Mrs. Nikwe research focused on the synthesis of biodegradable and biocompatible polylactide acid core cell spheres loaded with doxorubicin anti-cancer drug for targeted and sustained drug delivery. Photosensitizer vectors, titanium dioxide, zinc oxide nanoparticles were dispersed on the spheres for photodynamic therapy. Selectivity is achieved by localizing UV irradiation on the tumor site. In addition, magnetic nanoparticles were encapsulated on the cell for magnetic targeting of carriers to the site of reference. Polylactide metal oxide based hybrids showed a sustained, prolonged drug release pattern. The cytotoxicity of the spheres was tested in vitro on human cervix epithelial carcinoma cell lines, which led to pronounced biocompatibility. The candidate's work has been published in a number of international peer-reviewed journals and has been presented at both local and international conferences and workshops.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry on Nigiwe Gwyneth Mhlanga.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Yi Yang No, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry, with a thesis entitled Template Synthesis of Palladium and Platinum Nanoparticles by Dendrimer and Reverse Microemulsions for the catalytic evaluation on various reactions, prepared under the supervision of Professor Reinhard Mayruem and co-supervision of Professor A.J. Müller. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor, the thesis of the candidate describes the synthesis and characterization of platinum and palladium nanoparticles, using both dendrimers and microemulsions as a template. These nanoparticles were subsequently utilized as catalysts for several model reactions as well as industrially important reactions. As a model reaction, the reduction of nitrophenol was investigated, and it was concluded that this follows Langmuir-Hinchwood type kinetics. In addition, the industrially important Heck carbon-carbon coupling reaction was evaluated, as well as the oxidation of styrene by peroxides. This work has resulted in now 4 peer-reviewed publications and a book chapter.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry on Ji Yang No.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Hlengilishe Nyoni, who has complied with all the requirements for the degree of Philosophiae Doctor in Chemistry, with a thesis entitled Development of a Passive In Situ Integrative Sampler for Monitoring Biotoxins in Aquatic Environments, prepared under the supervision of Professor T.A.M. Mascati and co-supervision of Professor Becky Mamba of Northwest University and Professor M. Jacobs of Cambridge University in the United Kingdom. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Chancellor, Mr. Nyoni's PhD research focused on the development of a passive sampling device for measuring time-weighted average concentrations of hazardous trauma-promoting toxins produced by the natural cyanobacteria water blooms of the Hartbeespoort Foot Dam. The novel passive sampler comprised a silicon membrane filled with a suspension of iron 3 oxide nanoparticles, which has a high sorption capacity for cyanobacteria toxins. The findings reported in this study suggest an efficient, green, and less costly instrument useful in estimating the cyanotoxin concentrations in South African waters and the world at large. The candidate's work has been published in an international peer-reviewed journal and has been presented at several international conferences. 2 more papers have been submitted for publication.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Philosophia Doctor on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Doctor Philosophiae, Doctor in Chemistry on Hlengilizwe Nyoni.
Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting Melusi Twala, who has complied with all requirements for the degree of Philosophia Doctor in Zoology, with a thesis entitled The Behavior of Silver and Zinc Oxide Nanoparticles in Aqueous Environments and Their Interaction with Aquatic Higher Plants, prepared under the supervision of Professor Vic Webner and co-supervision of Professor M. Muziel of the University of Pretoria. I now request the supervisor to read out an abstract of the study.
Mr. Twala investigated the behavior of silver and zinc oxide engineered nanoparticles in aqueous environments and their interactions with higher aquatic plants. The research revealed that in aqueous environments, the ENPs undergo physicochemical transformations that are primarily interactively driven by the characteristics and water chemistry of the ENPs. The accumulation of ENPs by aquatic higher plants and the resultant toxicity are interlinked to water chemistry and ENP characteristics. The observed bioaccumulation dynamics of the ENPs suggested potential photoextraction application as a green tool in the remediation of nanopollutants in contaminated waters. The generated data will enable discrimination and ranking of drivers of nanotoxicity and can influence safer by design approaches. The candidate's work has been published in local and international peer-reviewed journals.
Chancellor, I now request you to confer the degree Philosophia Doctor on this candidate.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now confer the degree Philosophiae Doctor in Zoology on Melusi Twala. At the closing of this wonderful and inspiring ceremony, let me also express warm words of congratulations to our graduates who have been awarded the various health sciences and science qualifications. I would like to say to them that yours is a truly outstanding and landmark achievement for you personally, for your families and friends, for your community, and for all of us here at UJ and in Africa and beyond. Indeed, today each one of you brings a great honor and prestige to your parents, your wider family, your forebearers and community, your university and your nation. Today we are extremely proud of your achievement, and we are here gathered to honor you appropriately. We visualize you standing on the mountaintop, celebrating and reflecting on this achievement. As we all celebrate, our graduates remind us that achievement, victory, and celebration are the results of effort, struggle, and endurance, a matter which our nation and our world should draw great inspiration from. Each one of you have been through some of the toughest times, and you have faced obstacles that seemed insurmountable, emotions and feelings that could have crushed you, but you surmounted the obstacles and succeeded. I'm certain that all of you carry certain memories of how tough and difficult your lecturers were, and that you had to hand in those assignments on time, and you did. From where you stand at the summit of the mountain, you will realize, as Nelson Mandela reminds us, that there are even more mountains and valleys ahead. Not only is your graduation day a mark of achievement, it is also the beginning of future challenges in your life at another level. So as you go forward, I encourage you to draw generously upon this moment of extraordinary achievement and for you to remember your graduation today. It is our hope that the time and energy that you, your families, the university, and the state have invested in your education, you will now see grow into professionally, intellectually, and as committed, respected citizens of our nation and the wider global community with integrity, good faith, good intentions, honor, and humility, and for you to share these values generously with those you interact with. And that your forward journey be punctuated with self-reflection, self-criticism, honesty, innovation, agility, and dynamism, setting and attaining of high standards in the belief that despite everything to the contrary, a better future awaits all of us, and that you would grow in wisdom no matter how long it takes. So believe in yourself and remember this wonderful day. Let us now turn to express our words of gratitude to parents, families, spouses, partners, and friends for their support, motivation, and love during your studies. I am certain that all of you who are graduating today would love to seize this moment with a round of applause to all those who have supported you today. But I'm also certain that the parents and friends and families and spouses would also like to have one more round of applause for those they have supported. Let's also thank our academics, great teachers, and fine scholars who have made all this possible. Let me express sincere appreciation to our executive deans, Professor Swart of the Faculty of Health Sciences and Professor Deborah Mayer of the Faculty of Science, their vice deans, and their teams of amazing heads of department and academics who have come in big numbers here on stage to see you off. A round of applause to them. And finally, we hope to see you again in furthering your studies as active alumni, supporting the university that has supported you in various ways so that future generations might continue to benefit from the opportunities that the University of Johannesburg offers. So then, armed with your UJ qualification, go on and change the world to one that turns on its head Gandhi's assessment of the 21st century to one characterized by commerce with morality, politics with principles, wealth with work, knowledge with character, earth with reverence, religion with sacrifice, pleasure with conscience. And go forth then and change the world. I thank you, Rea Leboha, Bayadanki, Siabonga. You are requested to stand for the singing of the national anthem, the words of which can be found on the last page of the program. Ek versoek u nou om te staan vir die sing van die volkslied waaraan die woorde agter in die program verskyn. By virtue of the powers vested in me, I now dissolve this congregation of the University of Johannesburg. Ngenxa yegunya enginikwe lona, sengiyalikhulula leli bandla leNyuvesi yaseJohannesburg.